Yeah. So, Catch Me at the Ballpark anime, it's not good. Yeah, we have a brand new anime show to come out of the spring 2025 season by a studio called EMT Squared, which, um, if you don't know who EMT Squared Studios is, don't be surprised because this is a studio that I'm pretty sure no one has heard about. Their discography isn't really that recognizable as you can see, but the one show that definitely stood out to me when I looked them up not that long ago was a little show that they did a couple years back that did grab my attention, and that was called The Drugstore in Another World: The Slowly to a Chief Pharmacist. And I remember this show being like really painful, really mid. They essentially like took a really great voice actor who, keep in mind, the male voice actor who voiced this show was the same person who voiced Kazuma from Konosuba, um, Jun Fukushima, and they kind of took his character, his voice acting chops, and just watered it down to like the lowest common denominator of like a generic isekai anime with the show. And I essentially dropped it after 3 episodes because it became so painfully mid, really boring, just not worth the time and energy to watch when it was trying to stand out as like another great isekai anime to come out. So, with that in mind, I never really pay attention to the studio past this point because why would I? There's nothing here that really stood out, as you can see. But there were two shows that definitely caught my eye essentially when I first got into the studio. The first of which was this anime show called The Unaware Atelier Meister, which I honestly gave this show a first episode watch, wasn't crazy about it, immediately dropped it afterwards, because as you can see, it just feels like a Danmachi ripoff, more or less. But this Catch Me at the Ballpark anime definitely caught my interest because, initially, the poster for this was kind of like this, where it's like a hot babe holding a beer and she's at a ballpark, and I'm like, okay, what is the show all about? What is it going to be? Well, to my surprise, this is essentially like a slice of life anime that talks about like what it's like to be at a baseball stadium, the the trials and tribulations of what every ballpark player goes through, what all of the beer servers go through, what everyday Joes who just after a hard days at work or a hard day from school or God knows what, they come to this ballpark to just wind down, relax, and just let it all out at watching what else? Their favorite baseball game and their favorite pastime. And again, to be honest with you, I definitely was hooked on it within the first couple of episodes. But as I kept watching episode three, four, five, and now the latest episode, I just wasn't crazy about it. Unfortunately, it just became so boring as it kept on progressing through. Because again, there were some really cool slice of life qualities of it. Sorry, that I like, but trust me when I say that it's just super boring really fast. And what's kind of interesting was that I definitely got appealed to the show because of Rumiko, the main character of the show. Um, and Rumiko's character, her voice, the voice actress who voiced this, her voice definitely sounded familiar. And when I went to look her up, played under Faru's eye, she has a pretty big discography under her belt. Mainly, she voiced some pretty big names from Power, from Chainsaw Man, to Shinomiya Kikaru from the Kaiju Number 8 franchise. There's even one where she voice acted Lee Gao from one of my favorite trash animes of last year from Viral Hit, and even one of the cat characters from Mashoku Tensei. And the discography kind of goes on and on, but she voices some pretty interesting and key characters that, if you look her up, her voice acting chops ranges far and few. And that essentially was what got me to Catch Me at the Ballpark in the first place, was because you have this amazing character, amazing voice actress, and okay, we have all the recipes for a really good, maybe a decent anime. But I don't know what they were cooking in this show in this studio for this, but it just came off really boring, really plain. It's really like once again what happened with the drugstore isekai, where they took a really great voice actor and just essentially watered it down and just held back all the full potential that the show could have been. Because that's what I'm getting with the show right now. They took a really good voice actor who's super well known and just watered it down to its bare essentials. And don't get me wrong, maybe this show could be relatable to someone out there that understands what it's like to go through the work life and such, which again, I want to go through that stuff and relax and have to not think about work every now and then. But this show just doesn't hit all the marks to that genre, I guess you could say. And overall, it just gets painfully derivative with each new episode. Not only that, the animation of the show wasn't going to be great from to the get go. It's like another like God, sorry, my coughing is taking over because the animation's bad, but the animation is just essentially really painful. It's not good to like really keep up with a lot of the other slice of life animes out there. And overall, I just feel like this feels like it just got cobbled up together and just rushed out for the sake of being rushed out. Because again, there are some really cool lessons here to be learned about from Rumiko to the workers that work in the ballpark, to the baseball players, to everyday Joes that come in just to sit down, wine, and drink some cold hard beer. Like that's cool and all, but for me, I'm just not into it. This show just became really boring and painfully hard to watch as each new episode comes about. And I think I could comfortably say that this is just a really forgettable show, and it's going to be forgettable for years to come. So again, I went to the show with little to no expectations. I was hoping it was going to be like a slam dunk, or sorry, a slam ballpark out of the gates. But unfortunately, the show just didn't have everything I was hoping for. So again, I'm fortunate I'm going to drop it. And if I had to rate just the 6 episodes alone for what I have seen so far, I will give it like a 5, like a light 5 out of 10. It's fine. It's just it's not a show that I would gradually go back on because it's just really boring. The animation is just not up to snuff. The voice acting really could have been put into better use, honestly, if they just had a better studio doing this, honestly. So yeah, catch me at the ballpark. More or less, it's not good.